Hey guys, I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend and that everybody even realizes that it's freaking April already. Personally, I have no idea when that happened, but I'm just gonna go with it. And it also made me remember and realize that I have been a coach for 2 years now. Um, and it just really kind of blows my mind a little bit of how this last 2 years has gone and how fast it's gone and how much I've changed and how much has happened. And I also started kind of reflecting back on it myself and kind of in my challenge group and everything like that. And so it just kind of made me wanted to make a video for you guys because I know a lot of people really enjoy when I do videos. I don't do them that often just because I typically have my son like sprinting around and it's super hard to like stay focused and do my videos, but I'm gonna do them for you guys today. And what it's gonna be about is who the heck I am, who I used to be, how I got here, and kind of the process that it's all taken in its course in life and everything. So you know, a lot of you guys have been following my journey since like day one, seriously. I thank all of you that have known me for not only these 2 years, but before that as well. But especially these last 2 years of my life has just been life-changing, and I have really been working really hard to get here. And basically it all started 2 years ago, right before Easter. We were living in Texas. We were living in an RV on my uncle's property. It was kind of a nightmare. I mean, I thank my uncle so much for taking us in when he did, because we were technically homeless. We'd gotten kicked out of our home that we were living at in Dallas, and we just needed somewhere to go, and so we moved in with my cousin. And from there we had bought an RV thanks to the help from my mom, and we just plopped it on my uncle's property in the country of Texas. And Mike had gotten a job, and we just started trying to work our way back up. And that's really where all of my journey started, is right in the midst of that, is that I was so exhausted. I was staying at home with Derek. I was also working at a chiropractor office, doing massage a couple days a week. I absolutely loved my job, but it was exhausting as well. Massage therapy and giving to people every day, all day, is physically demanding. And then to come home to my son and, having him run around and want mama time and all this stuff. And I just was exhausted. And I just wanted something to give me energy. I found this random girl in my massage therapist group on Facebook, and she was like, "Oh my God, I just got out of this session. I feel amazing." And I was like, I don't ever feel amazing after coming out of a session. So I messaged her and I was like, well, what the heck are you drinking? What are you doing that is making you feel so amazing? And she began talking to me and really began helping me and motivating me to start doing things a little bit differently. I started running in the morning. I was dying. I could barely make it to the end of my uncle's driveway because I was also smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, and eating like crap. So why did I think that I was going to be able to run 5 miles? I have no idea. But I got really discouraged really quickly with running, and I just was like, that's not my outlet. Or I eventually wanted to be running, but I just knew that I couldn't start there because I was just so out of shape, and I had so many other bad habits in my repertoire, or in my little booklet here. I like my little booklet. Who knows what that meant? But I needed something else. And so I started talking to her, and I was like, well, I kind of started running, I just need something else. She goes, I'm going to sign you up for one of my challenges. All you need to do is purchase this starter kit, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't even care what's in it. Just sign me up. I borrowed the money from my mom initially. I said, Mom, I need to borrow some money. I got to get this package. I'm just going to start working on my energy and working on my fitness. And my mom, the amazing woman that she is, was like, okay, whatever, here it is. And I said, Mom, but I'm going to sign up as a coach, which means I get to sell product. That's what I was like really excited about at first. It's like, ooh, I can sell stuff and that can generate money for me. That's what I initially kind of wanted, was a second income to where I didn't have to rely on massage therapy for my income. Because I really hated looking at my massage therapist clients as paychecks. I loved massage, but I hated that I looked at them as dollar signs rather than, actually wanting to help them and heal them. So I did my first challenge. I did it all by myself. I did a 21-day challenge. I started eating better. I started kind of pumping my body with some superfoods. I started working out in our RV for 30 minutes a day. I started watching these little DVDs and doing these little workouts. And little did I know that was such a turning point for my life at that time. Because like I said, guys, like literally a couple months before that, we were homeless. We had barely 2 pennies to rub together, and I was on WIC. I actually used WIC food to get my food for our clean eating program, because you could get brown rice, you could get milk, and I could get veggies and stuff like that. And so I was using the WIC food to actually survive my 21-day challenge, which was super cool. And now that I reflect back, it's actually really cool that that program is designed like that. The WIC program is. But so I did that challenge. I instantly knew that this was something that I could really be good at. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't really know who was going to end up joining me. I didn't know it was going to be as big as it was, and it is, but I knew I was onto something. I had some amazing results. I shared my results. I created a group. I had some people join it. I started posting my food. I started posting my workouts, and people just started following it. People started liking what I had to say. People started actually asking me for advice. And that little thing really allowed me to feel like I had a purpose again. And it wasn't just to go to work and grind out some money and come home and hang with my son and work and be a mom and eat and clean and da-da-da. I felt a purpose for other people. And that was magical in myself. That brought a new sense of confidence to me that I never knew that I was even missing, let alone knew I even had in my body. Soon after that, Mike and I had taken a little trip over to Galveston to see the coast. We were living kind of more inland on Texas, and it instantly fell in love. I mean, fell in love. We literally found jobs, packed up the RV, and scooted across the state of Texas about 2 hours east, and we ended up on the Galveston Bay, which is right there in Dickinson, Texas, kind of like San Leon area. Most people don't know about it. The only reason you probably would know about it is this next thing I'm going to talk to you guys about, of what happened once we got over there. We got over there, we had this beautiful spot, we were right on the water. Guys, it was dirt cheap. We paid like $300 a month for our lot rent. We were right across the street from a park. I was working out, Mike was working out with me, I was massaging at a local little Hand and Stone. Mike opened up a bee business where he was doing bee removals out of people's houses. We were so content, and we actually even still lived in the RV. And I started remodeling it, I started painting it, we started pulling stuff out and gutting it. I had a little hammock in the back with Derek's little TV. He had his own room, we had our own room. Honestly, we absolutely loved it. I was in bliss when we were there. I remember one morning my mom called me. I had just got done doing some yoga outside. It was a beautiful day, and she starts calling me and she starts talking to me and telling me that I needed to get out of where I was. She goes, "There's a hurricane coming right for you." And I was like, "Mom, first of all, hello, how are you today?" And I was like, "Second of all, it's sunshine, it's beautiful." I was like, "I'll check out the news, but for the most part, I was like, we're probably going to be fine." We had just went through like a tropical storm like a month ago, and it honestly wasn't even a big deal. It was like, and everybody was like hyping it up and stuff like that. So I was like, it's probably just the same thing. And so Mike and I, we kind of like watched the news a little bit, but honestly, we just kind of went throughout our day. My mom had called me back, several hours later, and she goes, "Well, have you decided what you're going to do?" And I was like, "Mom, like, we're not going anywhere, I was like, we're going to be fine." And she goes, "Jen," she goes, "I want you to turn on the news right now." And she goes, "I want you to watch it." She goes, "It is coming right for you." She goes, "It's going to hit lower than you." And then they're talking about it coming up and it's sitting on Houston for several days of rain and rain and rain. She goes, "I'm not talking about the hitting of the hurricane with like blowing your house over." She goes, "They're talking about a lot of rain, a lot of flooding, and you're right on the water." So I couldn't argue with her. Once I started watching the news and we started really kind of understanding. At the time they were talking about 25 inches of rain, literally right where our house is set up. And so Mike and I looked at each other. This was like that evening, and we said, "Okay, well, if we're gonna leave, like, we got to go now." They're talking it's going to hit Rockport on Friday and move up to Houston by Saturday, and it's going to sit there and spin and rain and through Monday, possibly Tuesday. And so honestly, I didn't have the money to do a hotel room. Mike and I we weren't struggling, but we were still living paycheck to paycheck. I had happened to have a little savings account. It only had, about, I don't know, $500-600 in it. I had actually just started it. Thank God I even did. But I was excited about being able to start this savings account. And I was like, "Mom, I'm not using that money to go sit in a hotel and then spend it all and everything be fine." I was just kind of in turmoil, But then there was also this part of me that was like, I don't want to be one of those people being rescued from the top of their RV holding a child and 2 dogs and trying to get out days into it. So we had taken my mom's advice. That was like Thursday night. Honestly, at the time I was like, all right, we're just going to make my mom happy. Everybody pack a bag, grab some toys, grab the dogs. I literally took a baggie of dog food for them. Like, it was like, we're just going to go spend the weekend. We'll come back. We may have some trees to like pick up or something to like take down or whatever. But we really weren't that concerned. I know a lot of people are like, "Why didn't you just take the RV out? Why didn't you just pull the RV up?" Well, you guys, you have to think that where our RV was is we had cable hooked up to it. We had it up on cylinder blocks. I mean, it was a stationary like unit. Like, it wasn't like we were planning on moving at any time soon. So we had everything still laid out. We had, a tarp on the ground. We had cords running out of the back of our thing. We had sewage hooked up. Like, it wasn't something that we could just abruptly hook up and leave. And we also were not that concerned about it until it was really kind of too late. That's the hard part. So we did go about an hour and a half northwest inland, and we we started watching the news. We were at the hotel. We saw the hurricane hit Rockport, and I think it was a hurricane category 4 at that time. And it had dropped down to like a 2 almost instantly once it hit land. And then it even dropped down to a 1 by that Friday night. And so we were kind of like, yeah, like, let's just get this weekend over with. Let's just move on. I just want to go back home. We were just kind of more annoyed that we were even sitting in a hotel room spending money that we didn't have. It rained all Friday night into Saturday, and we started watching the news, and they started kind of inching the rainfall up. So, you know, it started about 20 to 25 inches. By Saturday, they were talking about 30 to 35 inches. Come Sunday, they started talking about 40 to 45 inches. And I just remember starting to feel this overwhelming feeling of like, something's not right, you know? This is gonna be much bigger than we can even imagine. And you could just feel the energy of the news. I was watching all of these live feeds go on, you know, to where people were already being evacuated. You know, we were really lucky that we left that Thursday when we did, because we really missed a lot of the chaos. We had gotten some groceries. I'd taken all of our groceries. We actually ended up getting, when I booked it, I booked a suite. So we would have a kitchen. We had like a little living room, a larger room, because I knew if all four of us were going to be in that, like it was actually bigger than our RV. The suite was bigger than our RV. It's kind of funny. But from there, you know, come like Monday morning, there was so much water everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Even our hotel was flooded. And we were an hour and a half northwest of where we were actually living. And they started giving like total rainfall counts. They started, you know, still doing evacuations, because then once all this water was on land, it had nowhere to go. The levees were going to be breaking. They started releasing levees. This water just started, I mean, rising, guys. Like, if you guys have ever been to Houston, there's the Sam Houston Tollway, and there's like a special place like right in Katy where there's like several highways above each other. You guys, it was up over like 3 highways of water. And our house actually got around 52 inches of rain right where it was located. We pretty much lost everything, to be honest. Mike had went down like that Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember exactly right now. He's like, I'm going to make an effort to go home and check on our stuff. I was terrified because I was so scared that he was going to get caught in water, even though I knew he had a truck and I knew he was very smart and I knew that he would be, he wouldn't do anything that would make him in any danger. I had no idea what was out there, and it really concerned me. So he had went out and he got to the house and he immediately called me and let me know that we had taken on a lot of water. You know, our RV was up, you know, I mean, it's on tires and stuff, but then water had gotten into our house as well, up through the RV, which the thing is though, you guys got to think of what kind of water this is. This is not just like spring water from your, you know, your faucet. This is sewage water coming up from the ground. So not only did the sewage from our RV come up through our RV and all into our home, you've got mold that happens instantly. We had an AC unit in the side that had fallen in, and you know, water was just pouring into our house. And some of the stuff was salvageable, you know, like my closet, thankfully, was a higher closet. We had some stuff in our kitchen that was higher. Some of the stuff in the back that was in storage was a little higher, but pretty much anything from, you know, mid wherever down, was destroyed, was ruined. We had to toss it. Blankets, beds, couches, chairs. Under our bed was a lot of storage, so we had to get rid of all of my bakeware, all of my cooking, all of my pots, pans, and actually the entire RV unit was a total loss as well. Also at the time we had left my car there because I was like, we'll just all take the truck, whatever, we'll come back. What do I need to take 2 vehicles? You know, so my car was a total loss. We lost, I would say, about 75% of our belongings and our entire home, my car. And, you know, thankfully we had us. we were fine. Derek was fine, Mike was fine, our dogs were fine. But our dignity was stripped. I had a really hard time coaching around then. Even though a lot of you guys follow me and you guys were always telling me, I don't know how you have so much strength. I don't know how you're still posting. I don't know how you're still doing this. And honestly, at the time, it was like I didn't have a choice because I was sitting there stewing and I just needed to like purge that information. And a lot of people were asking me about how we were doing and stuff. So I just started posting daily. You know, I started posting like day 5 of Hurricane Harvey, day 10, day 20. We ended up being in that hotel room for about a month. God, that sucked. We just had to keep like extending our stay. We had to keep like, we had to move rooms. We had to do all kinds of crazy stuff to try and stay in that hotel to figure out what we were going to do with our home, where we were going to go. Are we going to get just a new RV? Are we going to, like, we were homeless again. God, oh, sucked. So Mike had went down. He pulled out everything that he thought he could salvage. We shoved it into a storage unit and we took off to Ohio because honestly, we just didn't know what else to do at that time. We knew we couldn't spend any more money wasting away in a hotel, and insurance didn't seem to be moving very fast. So we went back to Ohio where it was my birthday and then it was Derek's birthday, and we kind of celebrated a little bit. And Mike is a very antsy person. He cannot sit still for very long. And so when we were driving up to Ohio, actually we drove through the rain from Hurricane Irma, which also hit Florida. I know a lot of you guys know that Hurricane Irma hit right after Hurricane Harvey. And Mike was like really devastated because he was like, I can't imagine anybody else having to go through what we just went through. And he goes, I think I'm going to go down there and help. And while you figure out all the insurance and get everything taken care of up here. I was kind of like, okay. He was like, I'm just going to go down for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, you know, help some people, volunteer, maybe remove some trees. He's like, whatever needs to be done, I just want to go help. And I was like, okay. So he grabbed a crew of guys. He grabbed a couple guys that were willing to go down with him. He gathered them all up, drove around the country to get them all. And then he headed down to Florida while I stayed in Ohio to sort out all of our stuff. And that was a mess. It was such a mess, you guys. I know a lot of you guys followed me through that, but there are some new people on my Facebook right now that don't even know anything about my Hurricane Harvey struggles. And that's weird to me because now it's such a part of me. It's such it's like if I could get a tattoo of it. You know, have you guys ever seen Moana? And you know how like Maui, like whenever he like does something successful or does something, like his tattoo just like appears on his body. I felt like that's who I was. Like it was just literally like Hurricane Harvey was just wrote all over me. And I was just engulfed in it. And I was heartbroken by it because of all this stuff we had built, and I was actively coaching, and Mike had a beautiful, you know, life, and Derek was flourishing as a child there. I just felt like we were so back at square one. It was devastating, to be honest. You know, fast forward a few months of being in Ohio, dealing with lots of stuff, dealing with insurance, dealing with, you know, trying to get our RV paid off from insurance, trying to deal with my car. I was still living out of the duffel bag of clothes. I am actually still living out of that duffel bag of clothes because our stuff is still in a storage unit in Texas. Because what happened is when Mike came down here in Florida and he started helping, he ended up in the Keys, the Florida Keys. They did tend to get a lot of the brunt of the damage because they were kind of the initial point where Hurricane Irma came through. And so he came down to the Keys and he goes, Jen, I think you're really going to like it here. He goes, I know that we talked about going back to where we were. He goes, but what do you think about coming here? So I came to visit for a week because he literally had been gone for almost 2 months. 2 weeks turned into 2 months. And I came down to visit, and I really did fall in love with the Keys. I really do love it down here. And I even saw it at its worst. I mean, there was so much damage and so much debris and everything all around here. But I still loved it, and I still felt like maybe that's where we're supposed to be. You know, maybe the storm has provided this new life for us. You know, I know a lot of you guys will see that I hashtag all the time, the storm provides, because I feel that even though our lives were in this beautiful place and this beautiful moment of where we were, the storm has provided an amazing new life for us. And we are so grateful and so thankful for that. And so, you know, when it came down to it and everything was said and done, I just told Mike, let's just move down there. Let's just move there. And you can restart your life and your business there. And we can live this fabulous, beautiful life in Key Largo, Florida. And that's exactly what we did. We pulled every penny that we could together. Thankfully, I had some amazing people donate so much money, you guys. You guys donated so much money to us through my GoFundMe. And that really carried us over those couple months without work. It really carried us into being able to move, not only come home from Texas, but also get me back down to Florida with a U-Haul and all that stuff. Like literally all of that was paid for by the GoFundMe. And then, yeah, here we are. Here I am. 27 minutes later, I'm in Key Largo, Florida. But you guys, the reason why I really want to talk to you guys about this is because I want you to understand that I understand how hard life can be sometimes. I really do. And, but I also know that wallowing in it and letting it consume you and own you is the worst way that you can ever go about it. I refused to let Hurricane Harvey control me. I refused to let it get me down. I dyed my hair purple. I just kept doing my challenges. I kept talking to my challengers, and I kept just pushing for the life that we wanted. I never backed down. I said, I'm not letting this get us down. And Mike and I both agreed, and we both just kept pushing for something more. And we kept praying, and we kept just being positive, even though we had bad days. I'm not saying there weren't bad days. I'm not saying that it wasn't hard, because it was really freaking hard to get up every day knowing that we had nothing to our name anymore and want to push and trying to get our lives back together. It was hard. It was very hard. But it's been worth it. See, that's the thing, guys, is life is going to be hard no matter what. It's going to be hard if you're sitting on the couch and doing nothing all day. That's hard. But we chose a different hard. We chose a hard that's going to reward us. That's going to be so rewarding in the end, that this is our story. And I can't help but get emotional about my story. It's my freaking story. And it was hard and it hurts. And we had to go through so much pain and struggle to get here. But we're here. And you can do that too. It doesn't matter what's happened in your life. It doesn't matter what's brought you to where you're at. All you have to know is where you're going and what you're doing and have a purpose. And coaching in itself gave me that purpose. Coaching in itself has saved my life, because it gave me something to focus on. It gave me something to look forward to. And it really gave me something to just change my whole perspective during all of this. It saved my life. So, if you guys ever wonder why I coach, not only do I have motivation from you know, the last video I did with, you know, wanting to save every person in the world from diabetes and heart attacks like my dad, I want more. I want more out of life. I want more out of anything that can give me more. And so I keep pushing and I keep pushing. And even now that we're here, we're pushing for more. You know, we're pushing to be on the water. We're pushing to have our own boat. I want to have a successful team. I want to be one of those coaches that you look at and you go, damn, that girl was homeless? That girl was homeless? Shut up. Twice? Shut up. She lost everything? Shut up. Nuh-uh. And I'm going to go, yeah, yeah, that happened. But you know what? Things don't define people. People define people. And I define myself. Of course, Hurricane Harvey is part of me, but it doesn't define who I am. I define who I am. I decide who I am, and I am Coach Jen Shaw. And I absolutely love it. And I can't wait to push further. So, happy 2 years, Jen. Happy 2 years of coaching and living life. And yeah, that's my story. Love you guys.